Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the A to B podcast, your number one source for military entrepreneurship and entertainment. As always, guys, I can't leave him. I try to leave him sometimes in Long Beach because he lives so far away, but I cannot get rid of him, guys. So I'm always joined by my co-host, Barry Bull. What's up, Barry? How you doing?
I'm crushing it, man. It's Woman Crush Wednesday. Women or woman? How many women do you have?
Only one.
Okay, good.
I have several in my
life.
And, you know, my mom, my
Valerie,
grandma.
once again, lo siento mucho.
How you doing, man? You been good?
Oh, man, working hard, working out hard. We were talking about this earlier, just staying busy 7 days a week. There's no days off. And I don't look for any days off. So that's, I love my life, man. I'm
going to tell you this, out of the 7 days, this is my favorite one, where I come to sit down here, invite a guest, and have a conversation between veterans. So with that being said, guys, I want to introduce today's guest. His name is Alex Mares. He is an active duty Marine currently in the MECEP program, which MECEP stands for Marine Enlisted Commissioning Education Program. Okay, guys, we're going to be talking to him about how the hell did he even get into that program? How can you water walk like that? Okay. The second thing is, how is it that you, as a listener that will be watching this, can share this information to anybody that's considering going into the MECEP program? So without further ado, Alex, what's going on, brother? How you doing today?
Hey, everything's going good. I'm happy to be here. So thanks, Barry Albert, for having me.
Of course, brother. Now, we were talking about this a little bit off camera, so we want to give you a little bit of a hard time, okay? How long have you, you said you're a staff sergeant?
Yes, correct.
E-6. How long have you been in the Marine Corps?
5 years.
How the hell does that happen?
Especially as an 01.
Especially as an 01.
So if y'all don't know, 01's admin. So
yeah.
And it's very competitive.
Yeah,
very
A lot of people, we love to make fun of the paper cuts and the paper pushing and the paper, and it starts with a B. The paper, not stitches.
Okay. I didn't even go there. I didn't go there.
I thought you would get it immediately.
And then wait,
we love to make fun of them, but it's seriously like one of the most competitive MOSs. And I've seen young Marines try to re-enlist and get told no. And they were like really amazing.
Yeah, I think it's the second or third biggest MOS in the Marine Corps. Now, I'm going to do a poll for Instagram right now. And what I want to see is how many more Marines do we got? Do we have grunts? I think that's the biggest MOS in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
So we got grunts. Second is going to be admin. And third is going to be mortar T. So go ahead and drop whatever MOS this is that you are. And we'll see which one's the biggest and toughest and baddest MOS.
Which one's better to you? Like, which one's more hardcore? Admin or grunts? Which one is better? Like, just overall?
It's a tough question, but I mean, I'll stick with my own ones.
Absolutely. 01s are way better.
Represent.
Yeah, 01s are better than grunts. That's what we're going to lock in with. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you 100%. 01s all day. You heard it here first.
You know how hard it is?
You heard it here first.
Listen.
Drop a comment there. Freaking all my 21s, 31s, 41s, and 51s. And I didn't forget about you 52s out there and my 69s.
Hey, you know how hard it is that you're getting shot at and all of a sudden all you have to defend yourself is a pen? Staple gunner.
It's like David and Goliath. No, but exactly. It's like David and Goliath. You've got to be, anything is a weapon of opportunity. Right?
Exactly. But those staple guns don't go too far though. But
they don't.
Okay, time out. So, bro, talk to me a little bit more about that, man. Like, that's impressive. First of all,
what did you do?
We've been talking shit, but that's super impressive.
Very.
Reaching staff sergeant in 5 years, I mean, that speaks volumes on the reason why you're here and the reason why you got selected to do the MECEP program, right? So talk to us a little bit more about, the beginning of your career. Where are you originally from?
So I'm from Houston, Texas. Born
out.
and raised.
Yeah.
I say Houston, but realistically, it's a small town, like 30 minutes south, Anahuac, Texas. Y'all probably never heard of it.
I never have.
Yeah, exactly. So Houston, Texas, right? And, joined Marine Corps right out of high school. I was 17. I actually joined early. So I had to get were you a recruiter, right?
Yeah, it's 17.
Yeah. So you got to get some parental waiver or whatever signed to let me go. So I joined, ended up shipping out, going to boot camp 2018. And I mean, both my
That's
parents.
crazy.
Yeah,
That's
both my
insane,
parents are immigrants from Mexico, so I'm first generation here.
Where at Mexico?
Guanajuato.
Okay.
Shout out to Guanajuato.
Yeah.
Yeah. So shout out Guanajuato, and then I went to boot camp 2018, And then from there, it's just the whole MCT thing, admin school.
Yeah.
Which originally I didn't even know what job I did because
But you went to San Diego to boot camp in San Diego.
Of course, West Coast, best coast.
Okay, because
Here we go. Every podcast, we have this discussion. And let me tell you something.
These are the kind of Marines that we put out. Okay, 5-year staff sergeant. 5 year. I want to just say this.
I'm just gonna let him speak because I'm gonna crush him with the numbers. I'm gonna crush him with the data. Watch, I'm gonna crush him. Watch, go ahead, Barry.
Stats.
Say what you gotta say.
You made me lose.
Say what you gotta say.
You got me. Go ahead.
Okay, so we actually had this discussion on Instagram, guys. If you're watching this on TikTok, if you're watching this on YouTube, let me tell you something. You're missing out because they call me the military statistics guy because what I do is I do a bunch of random polls on my Instagram, and it just came out that Barry did one, and then I did one, but Barry doesn't know how to collect data like I know how to collect data. So Barry, all he did was he asked a question, and he was like, "Whose coast is better?" And then there was like a shit ton of comments. Which, by the way, I read the comments. The average says that Paris Island is better. Okay. The second thing is that when I did my poll on mine, I'm actually able to capture, the data correctly. And right now I think it's like 54% that Paris Island is better. Not only that, it doesn't stop there, how us recruiters say. We did another poll collectively to where we talked about which ones should YRF Tony do. Should he be a drill instructor or should he be a recruiter? As of today, that poll is at 51%. He should be a recruiter.
1%.
No, 2% because it's 49. So Barry, I'm sorry, man. Like, these numbers are crushing you.
I'm not worried about it because at the end of the day,
here we go. I'm not worried about it.
Listen, you can make statistics, tell whatever story you want, but at the end of the day, we're sitting here with a 5-year staff sergeant. He's going to be an officer.
Yep.
We have not had any Paris Islanders come in here like that. None.
That is very true. If you're a Paris Island Marine doing the MECEP program, as a matter of fact, I know one. He's one of my best friends. He's a ghost right now because of the reasons I said off camera. But let's get back to you, brother. So, because Barry obviously tried to make it, but hey, listen, all my Paris Island people.
I mean, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's here in the flesh. Like, he looks good. He smells good. He performs well. He's smart, articulate. He's San Diego, and he said it. West Coast, best coast, left coast.
Hey, that's right.
Okay, so you went to the West Coast. In 2018.
18.
What company?
Charlie
Company.
Now I'm in love.
You were a drill instructor.
Can we cue some like very just lovey-dovey music right here? Because gosh damn it. Yeah, I mean, just oh my gosh.
Play the saxophone music. That's what we need to play.
Romantic sex.
What was that like? Coming from Texas. You know?
I mean, my first time like out of the state, so it's like a shock. Like, I've never flown a plane before either, so I was like the first time me legit doing anything basically. I was
That's funny. That was my first time on a plane
town
too.
Where like there was literally nothing. It's like my high school graduated with 100 people.
Hello.
So like,
were you the only one that wanted to join the Marine Corps out of your high school?
No, believe it or not, and that's come to the reason why I actually ended up joining. Is my buddy, his name was Tyreek. I think he changed it to Brandon. I don't know, but he ended up joining like a year before that, or like getting into the delayed entry program or whatever. A few months before I found out about it, and he was kind of the one that told me, he's like, "Hey man, come out to a pool function and check it out." So I came out and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." And I thought about it, and then I was like, "What am I gonna do after like high school? Like, I have no plan. Like, the only thing you can do like out in that town is literally like working in oil rigs, like Exxon or Chevron, all that stuff. So there's not really much of opportunity, or going to the local community college.
It's good money, but that's real hard work. And it's dangerous.
And it's like, and for me, like, if I'm being honest, like, I'm not a super like blue collar labor dude. Like, right. So I was like, that's not for me. So I'm going to stick to like what I know, which is what, that guy was telling me. And I was like, hey, I like going to this pool function. It's cool. I like, talking to recruiters. So
do you remember your recruiter?
Yeah, actually, never mind. I don't.
Okay.
I remember my drill instructors though.
Yeah, I know you would. You would. Of course you would. The recruiter, he's just whatever. But so
stop. I got you.
Actually, no. Staff Sergeant V. I think he's a gunny now or something. But I couldn't pronounce his last name. Super hard to pronounce. But He was like my initial recruiter, and then I don't know what happened. He got reassigned or something like that. So
Probably fired.
probably I don't know.
Yeah, we don't just reassign him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, unless you're gonna pick up like staff in COIC
Sure.
or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
yeah.
but then it was stats aren't biased, so now my memory's coming back.
Okay.
When now when in this whole thing, going to this pool function, you talk to your friend, at what point do you break the news to your parents?
Honestly, I was just like
Did
I
you
just
like-
shut
did
it
you-
off. I was just like, hey, I want to join the Marines.
What did they say?
Yeah.
I mean, they were both shocked. I mean, you know Hispanic parents. They're like,
No, mijo, ¿cómo que los marines?
Well, that's why I'm asking, because like I didn't have that problem,
yeah, and they're like, no, like you didn't get shot. Like this is the Army, and like it's not the Army. It's the Marines.
It's not the
you know?
Army's worst.
It's a difference.
It's not the Army's worst. It's not the
It's way worse.
It's way worse.
Everybody
you actually
else.
go in first.
Yeah, everybody thinks it's the Army. It's
The
like,
Army
they don't
waits
know.
until we go.
Yeah, they don't know there's actually like 5 or 6 branches now. So
Yeah, they
it's
don't
like,
care.
Yeah, they don't know. There's just the Army
Sure.
to them. So it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
no, you're
yeah.
not doing that. It's dangerous. But I kind of explained it to them like, hey, I don't have to legit be like a grunt or the dude to go out there shooting all that in the front lines. Like I can be a different job. I can be like in an office somewhere. Which
And what did that help them, or were they just
yeah,
like,
yeah. And the more I talked them into it, and they were like, okay, they're a little more lenient on my decision and whatnot. So, and at that time I was 17, so
You needed
you
the parental.
needed
yeah, I
that.
needed that waiver. So I ended up convincing them to let me do it, and so they were cool with it, and then they let me like ship out. So that was
Wow.
And I turned 18 like I think about a year later after that, in a few months.
Now I'm gonna tell you this: you're one of the lucky ones, right? Because there's some parents that say, as long as you live under my roof, I will never sign that parental consent. Had people that said that, okay?
Yeah.
Really?
And I'm gonna tell you this for all the recruiters out there, or not even for all the recruiters, because it's not really the recruiter's place to say this to the applicant's parents, right? Well, one thing I will tell you is this: if you have a parent that will, if you're 17 right now, thinking about joining the military, but your parents will not give you the parental consent, this is the line that you got to tell them: Mom, Dad, I appreciate that you guys think that you guys are doing what's in my best. What's in my best interest. However, this is a decision that I already made. In other words, whether it's at 17 or at 18, when I can do it by myself, I'm still going to take this decision. All you're doing is delaying me in the process. So if you don't want to delay me, because this is a decision that I already made up in my mind, I ask you that you sign these papers. If not, I'm still going to do it when I'm 18. And 9 times out of 10, that will get the parents to sign
I just
the
feel
PC.
like my mom's Italian. She just slapped me halfway through that sentence, and I'm just being honest.
Yeah, but I mean,
Especially with that tone, she would have been like,
yeah, I mean, but it's in a conversational.
Motherfucker, you already made your
It's in
mind
a
up.
conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got to think about it. Like that.
I think you're right, though.
And essentially, it's you have to think in the position that your son is going to be at, compare where if he just goes to college and the whole 9 yards, right? Whether it's just 4 or whether it'll be 20 or whatever much it is. I do believe the military gives you a strong foundation for that type of stuff.
Yeah, of course.
So so you coming from a small town in Texas, you went to Paris. The West Coast. You went to, what's the name again? Oh yeah, MCRD San Diego.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't remember the name. So you went to MCRD San Diego, and then after that, how did it go for you? Well, how was your MOS school?
I'd say first off, recruit training was hard for me. So I'm sure everybody's
Why?
probably was. Yeah.
Why was it so hard?
I mean,
Do you remember, like, you sit on the quarterdeck meeting your DIs?
I do.
What was that like?
vividly. I mean, it's like you see these, 4 guys like that legit like look like scary, like they're tatted up and like look great in uniforms, or like they're serious. It's the first time you've seen like that encounter with like the actual military, so you didn't really know anything before that. So I think it was definitely like a wake up for me.
But you had seen this stuff on, like, social media, maybe
Oh yeah,
YouTube.
I was like YouTubing it, like, oh yeah, Marine Corps. But
So how
seeing
did
in
it-
person though? It's like
Yeah.
way different. Like it's like shocking. You're like, whoa, I'm here. This is legit. This is now.
Smells like bulldog.
Yeah, it
and
smells like a bulldog, and it's like, and then let the hounds out, and then they're out. So, I'd say it was a learning experience. Learn how to transition from being civilian to military.
yeah, you have to, like,
And,
learn how to
the
be a
basics
recruit,
and
right?
whatnot. Yeah, learn how to be a recruit and all
Speak
that.
in the third person.
Yeah, and I'm a knucklehead, so I wasn't really used to somebody like yelling at me in my face. I just want to sock them. So it's like I had to hold that back and have that bearing
Sure.
and be like, yeah, I
Is
gotta be
Spanish your
here.
first language or your second?
It was my first.
Okay, so it's even harder.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's even harder. Man, that's freaking sucks.
So when they told you get up, get online right now, what happened? Was it chaotic?
I mean, it was chaotic, but I mean, I did it because I had to.
Sure.
Because for me, it's like failing is like obviously not an option. So I didn't want to get sent back home because I was just gonna be like, what am I gonna do with my life now? Like I didn't know, so I just had no option than to legit pass.
Did you ever feel like, man, this is super hard. I don't know if I can do this, but I really freaking went out on a limb here. I got my parents' consent. Here I am. I got to do this.
Literally, that's exactly how I felt.
Yeah.
So it's like I had to get the job done. I had to get through the whole 13 weeks and all that. So it was a challenge for sure. Like, and I mean physically too, because I wasn't like the most fit guy. I'm not as buff as you, Barry. So like I was like literally a twig. Like I was like 130 going into boot camp. I was light.
What would you say the hardest part of boot camp was for you? Is there any part that like sticks out? Maybe it was an event, or just maybe it was a phase. First phase, second phase, third phase.
I'd say
whatever.
really the first phase, like the whole adaptation and doing all the learning the customs and courtesies and whatnot.
Sure.
And like knowing how to talk to the DIs. Like I didn't know how to talk to them. I was like, hey.
Yeah. So for everybody out there, that's why I brought that up. Just learning how to be a recruit. When you get there, your drill instructors. You literally have to be instructed how to do everything, how to sit, how to stand, how to speak, how to go from point A to point B. There's certain rules that have to be followed. You can't let recruits at a certain point in boot camp just kind of go wherever they want. But once they're maybe more experienced recruits, they can go in groups of, 10 or something to medical, what have you. But you have to learn how to speak because you speak in the third person. Hey, recruit bull. You don't say, hey, but you pop up, recruit bull request permission to make a head call. Right. Or recruit bull request permission to speak. First of all, you got to request permission to speak. Right. And then, which for a DI.
Do you remember? Can you say that still without messing it up?
Recruit bull request permission to speak?
No, but it's not like that. It's way longer. Either that or they fuck with me when I was in boot camp.
Why?
Because it was like, you had to say, recruit Ramos request permission to speak with senior journalists. And then if you mess it up.
Are you talking about when you hit the hatch?
Yeah, well, no, not in general. You had to say the drill instructor's name that you specifically wanted to talk about.
No. We didn't say the drill instructor's name.
To drill instructor?
That would be like calling your dad by his first name.
Really?
Hey, Barry. Be like,
drill instructor Staff Sergeant Lopez.
So I do remember that part. I don't know if it changed when you were probably in, but yeah, I do remember saying that portion. Like
Really?
like billet and then last name.
Yeah. It's just like recruit Ramos request permission to speak to drill instructor Staff Sergeant Lopez, sir. That's what we used to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you got to request permission to speak. And as a drill instructor, I remember thinking to myself, I know he's going to want to make a head call, and I'm not going to let him go, so I'm going to tell him to shut up. I'm not going to let him get it out, right? So when he requests permission to speak, nope, shut up, sit down. Right, but then I would get you get in trouble.
How many recruits piss themselves?
I know, right?
Well, but when you become a more experienced drill instructor, you learn that you need to let them go take a piss because they're not going to be focused on drill or whatever it is that you're trying to have them do. So you got to make time to go because as a hat, you don't have to piss. You're not drinking any water. It's like, running around like freaking a Magilla gorilla out there. No water, no food. And then, your recruits are just pounding freaking canteens all day. So, yeah. All right. So, first phase, you would say was like the hardest part of boot camp for you. What was the most rewarding part of boot camp for you?
Oh, EGA for sure.
E-Globe and Anchor.
What
was that like?
It was a surreal moment, honestly. Like I remember vividly, like how I was up there, and then it wasn't the senior, it was the one of the other hats that came by and was like, "Hey, congratulations!" This is the one that gave me the shit the most. Staff Sergeant Salceda, if you're out there, you're hearing this, but yeah, he was really inspirational to me. So when he gave me my EGA, it was like a really good moment for me. I got a little emotional, a little teary eyed.
So you cried?
I cried. I cried too. Got teary eyed.
I cried. Big time. I cried big time. I really, because for me, that was the hardest thing that I had done like that. I'd never, none of us had ever done anything like that. But I guess what I'm saying is I put everything I had into it. And I really, really bought into everything that from my recruiter to the DIs. And so, when Staff Sergeant Dixon gave my E-Globe and Anchor, it was like a real moment for me, and it just, plus I really liked how as Marines, we just, It felt like, we were a family. Staff Sergeant Dixon, he was the blackest person I'd ever seen in my life up to that point, And he's like putting his hand on my shoulder. He's training me. He's making me a better man. And he's giving me, we're having this moment, and it just, I felt like a family.
No, definitely. So I'd say it's the same exact like scenario where it's like I'm feeling like I made it. No, well, not made it, but like I did this.
Yeah.
I did. It took all these 13 weeks out of my life, and it transformed me to like a new man.
Yeah.
So and a Marine especially. So
What's crazy? I just had this happen the other day. So I posted that video about me and just like a little bit about my boot camp story, and this Marine messages me and he goes, "Your DI is my dad." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I saw your video." He's like, "I've been following you for a long time. You're a big reason why I joined the Marine Corps, And he goes, but you're, my dad was your DI. And I said, "Look, okay, show me a picture." And he's like, "Okay, as long as we can keep it off of social media." I said, "Okay." He sends me a picture, and it just, sure enough. And
really?
That's crazy.
Dude, my mind was blown.
Wow.
And it was just, some messages that we exchanged, and he was relaying them to his dad,
Is that still in, or is he out now?
No, he retired as a master sergeant back in, and he was a prior recruiter. He already had his recruiting ribbon. He comes down there to be a DI, and this guy was a maniac. Okay. I don't know how he was as a recruiter. I'm assuming he had to be kind of good, otherwise he wouldn't have got the damn ribbon.
Yeah.
But gosh damn, like he wore that DI thing like a freaking fit like a glove.
Yeah.
And it was just really cool it was very surreal and even emotional for me to be able to, exchange messages with him and just say, "Hey, can you relay this to your dad?" I don't know anything about his dad, like, because they never said anything personal about themselves as DIs. But anyways, so who was your favorite DI and why?
I'd say my senior, Staff Sergeant Ferriola, because he was nicer. That's probably why.
Yeah.
But
Did
he
he
was still
give you guys
firm.
cupcakes, candy,
No, I wish.
Gatorades?
No, I mean, I think he was just like the
I'm
one
trying.
the one that reached out the most. So yeah.
Gotcha,
I feel like we connected more with him because I think that's what the seniors are supposed to do, really. So I mean, just kind of sit down with the recruits and kind of like, hey, give them a little motivation, like you got this, like keep going.
Sure.
Besides, with the other ones are just like yelling at you in your face the whole time. So
Yeah.
I'd say probably the senior.
Now I'm gonna ask you this, right? Like, did you know that you were going to be admin? Like, do you understand your contract?
I came in with an open contract.
Oh.
I think that's what happened. But
So we're in MCT right now. It's 2018,
18.
and you are about to graduate MCT, and all of a sudden they yell out, PFC. Were you a PFC or were you a private?
I was a private.
So Private Mares, you're going to, where's that at?
Camp Johnson?
Yeah, Camp Johnson, North Carolina.
I was like, I don't know
base.
what administration is, like literally.
Really?
So it was like, okay, I guess I'll figure it out. At that point, I didn't really care what I did because I was a Marine at that point.
You just wanted to be a Marine.
I just wanted to be a Marine. So like, I'll take whatever job I get.
That's what's different about the Marine Corps, man. And it's so funny. I'm going to do a post on that Army captain who gave up his commission to join the Marine Corps.
That's huge.
That's what people
That's
don't get.
crazy.
What you just said, Alex, people don't, they don't understand the mystique and the honor and the privilege to be a Marine, earn the title, and to call yourself that. I could tell it means a lot to you, and that's what makes us different, I think.
Yeah, and I think you're going to make a huge impact with everything that you got going on right now
my
as
gosh.
well, because you have that at the core of your values, It's like, man, regardless, I'm a Marine leader before I'm a 01, before I'm a 03, before I'm a 08, so that really means a lot. Now, what would you say, because obviously you picked up, how many ranks did you pick up meritoriously?
So far, all of them except for PFC, because those were the ones that were like in boot camp.
Sure.
Where I don't know how you get meritorious. I think it's if you're a squad leader. Or
Yeah,
something.
It's
you're
your
a solid
recruiter. They're holding back.
Yeah,
on you,
either
like
that,
they usually do.
Or like, sometimes they do
He probably
contract
took
PFCs.
that,
Yeah,
meritorious promotion for himself.
yeah, he probably did. But that's like the only one I
Not how it
didn't
works.
He's probably still getting some of your direct deposit.
get, right?
Okay,
I
guys.
wish shit. That's not a bad idea, actually. That's not a bad idea.
Just thinking about it.
It's like, hey, if you recruit a meritorious Marine like him, like you gotta get at least like 1 1 or 2% of his paycheck for his.
Could
first
you
enlistment.
imagine that though? That'd be kind of cool though. That's an
Yeah.
idea. I like that's a business move right there.
Yeah,
Hey,
I know.
if you're a recruiter, you're putting in these top tier Marines that perform this well throughout their career. You get a stipend. The whole whatever.
Hey, freaking DOD, make it happen. Now, okay, so you picked up meritorious all ranks except PFC, which that's super acceptable. As a matter of fact, I think two of the hardest ranks to pick up meritoriously is corporal and sergeant, just because there's so much freaking competition.
Oh, definitely.
And specifically staff sergeant. Staff sergeant, you picked up staff sergeant in the fleet.
Yes.
Now that is impressive, because most of the staff NCOs or most of the Marines, sergeants that get meritorious promoted in an SDA. Just because they have so many billets, as a drill instructor or as a recruiter.
Well,
it's
not just that, but like you just said, right? His package is going to go up to whatever force he's a part of. What you're part of, one MEF?
Mar4 pack, yeah. So MEF.
Okay, so he's got to go think about that. There's over 40,000 Marines in one MEF. Whereas you go to the SDA, I'm not competing with you if you're a drill instructor at Parris Island.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm only competing with the drill instructors in San Diego.
They have such a big pool. Like the pool for promotion for drill instructors and recruiters, it's not only individual, but it's huge.
I definitely would say that it's more difficult to pick it up in the fleet because of those numbers. Having been a sergeant major, it's nearly impossible to even have a package to put forward for meritorious staff sergeant, because if you can even meet that criteria, you already have a super big leg up. The biggest hurdle that I used to see was when administrators or non-grunts, the pogues, would go up against grunts. Because you're going to always have that bias, and nobody talks about it, but they're always going to want to choose the grunts. Okay. And
Why do you think is that?
I just think that's how a lot of Marines' minds work. He's an admin guy. He's young. He doesn't need it. People always let their biases come in. And me, I'm sitting there going, I don't care how long he's been in the Marine Corps. I'm looking at his competitiveness in this book, in this package, whatever the case is. So anyways, that's impressive though.
The good thing is that we don't actually compete with the DIs, because there's the two separate ones, non-SDA and then the SDA ones.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: what was your first duty station?
Quantico,
Virginia. Yeah. Okay. So let me ask you this: so no, your first duty station. So you came here, and then now you're with one MEF.
Correct.
Okay. So now you're with one MEF. So this is where you put in your MECEP package.
Yes, MECEP and the staff sergeant.
How was your experience working at Quantico though?
I mean, it was good. For my first time being in Virginia, so I'm sure you and Barry know that Virginia's legit heavy on the officer side.
Yeah,
because you have all those.
You can't go anywhere.
The average rank's a major.
You can't get in a confrontation at the commissary because it's going to be some freaking colonel.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably like the admin headquarters. Where were you stationed at headquarters, Marine Corps?
I worked with them, but not specifically.
Well, you were in an S1, right?
Yes, I was at the regiment S1 there, and so the Wounded Warrior Regiment, they called.
Got it.
So I was there, but yeah, we were back and forth at the Marsh Center all the time for the headquarters Marine Corps.
Okay, got you.
Yeah,
What's the Marsh Center for those that don't know?
Yeah, the Marsh Center. So admin HQ. It was good though. I think I learned a lot being at the S1 there, at least, and the thing that I would say the most that I'm appreciative of is that I had good leaders. So for one, I had a good staff NCO as a PFC going there to the fleet.
Okay.
Why? I wouldn't even call Quantico the fleet really, but
what made him good?
He was just driven. I think he was actually a newly promoted staff sergeant too. Staff Sergeant Adams, and he was the one that really drove me and gave me the tools I needed to be meritorious, because I think he was a meritorious sergeant as well and staff sergeant, so he kind of molded me and gave me like I was saying, all the tools I needed, telling me what to do exactly, because I asked him too, and it's all about how bad you want it with anything. So even if you have leaders that push you to like, do boards or NCO the quarter, all that stuff, it all depends on how bad you want it. Because if you don't want it, then nobody's gonna do it for you.
Yeah.
So I also wanted that drive and took that initiative to like ask and be like, hey, what can I do to be promoted to Lance
What did
Corporal?
he do? Did he like look at your record and go, hey man, your pull-ups suck. You need to tighten that up. You
Basically,
need to go.
yeah. He went through my like whole MOL stuff and he was just like, hey, you need to do this, that. Kind of give me an outline of what I need to do to meet that criteria to be competitive against all those other PFCs and get to Lance Corporal.
Yeah.
Which at that point is like leading Marines, doing MCIs, all that stuff.
So I want everybody to pay attention to that, man, because one, and I'm sure it was more than one counseling, but you had a staff NCO who set the example, pulled you to the side because I'm sure he saw something in you, right? And specifically said, hey, this is exactly what you need to be doing. You need to do this. You need to do this. You need to do this. If you want to be, a good Marine, if you want to be meritoriously promoted at some point in your career, and you did it.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. Coming from the schoolhouse, did you graduate like top 10% of the class or anything like that?
Actually didn't. No.
No? Okay, so the reason why I ask you that is because I want to know, because obviously working at headquarters Marine Corps, like you said, that's like admin HQ, right? That's where it's very officer heavy. A lot of decisions get made up in that specific area, not only for the Marine Corps, but pretty much for the entire United States. So do they handpick those people to go there?
Yes. So that's another reason I'm really grateful for being there, because at that time, the admin chief at the regiment, he retired Master Guns now. Still good friends with him, Master Guns Ortegon. He was like I guess he pulls like, he looks at the PFCs in schoolhouse or the Marines in schoolhouse, and for the administration is like, hey, I want this one or this one, based on how they perform. Which I wasn't like the number 1 or 1% in the class, but like I was up there. Like I was, I was putting in work at the schoolhouse, so because I wanted to get a good duty station as a first assignment. So I believe that he was the one that kind of like hand selected like me and like another Marine to come out there to that.
Yeah, but you didn't know that at the time.
Yeah, I didn't know at the time. Now I know now, but like.
Yeah, so the message is freaking perform.
Correct.
You're in school. Oh, school's not a big deal. No, it can be a big deal. It can be a very freaking big deal.
That determines your career.
The reason, exactly, because that's the reason why I
hate that,
man. Dog. How much do you feel that you getting stationed where you got stationed there as your first duty station had a role in you getting meritoriously promoted all the way?
Oh, like 100%. Like bottom line, like if I would have not been positioned where I was initially, it probably wouldn't have got me to where I am now. Like my life probably could be a whole another matter. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whole another route.
That's crazy. Hey, listen, Headquarters Marine Corps, sorry for doing this, but I know all the admin guys are going to want to get stationed now and over there in Virginia. Now, okay, so I'm guessing that's a non-deployable unit.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so now you came over here. How was you asking for orders? How did that go for you? You were a sergeant, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah. So a little backtrack in Virginia too, because I left there as a sergeant, like you said.
Yeah.
But you're correct about it not being a deployable unit. However, you have those at the IAs, the individual augment billets, and I was lucky enough to be like put up for one of those, because after I got, I think, like meritorious Lance Corporal and Corporal, they're like, hey, this dude, seems solid. Like let's get him on IA billet. So at the time it was for CJTFOIR over in Kuwait. So Operation Inherent Resolve for the ones that don't know. And so my billet was to be like a Human Capital Division NCO, which is basically doing manpower, like all that stuff for like in the joint side. So we were working with like Army, Navy, Air Force.
Where were you at in?
I was in Camp Arifjan.
Arifjan. What year?
It was, so I left in, could be wrong, but it was like sometime in 2020. And then I had gotten back, like it was like 7 months, because they kept me an extra month or two out there.
Dude, I was there in Arifjan the same time that you were there. I was there with the Marines worked at. Dude, I probably saw you, right?
So you probably were.
Because we were there at the same time, right?
Were you in this SP MACTAF?
Yeah, we were in the SP MACTAF, 2141. And then I had a Marine there. His name was Corporal Vela that I had to go from because we were in.
I know that dude.
Yeah, dude,
skinny
you see
guy.
that?
Skinny
Yeah.
guy.
Okay, we're going to get tattoos.
Yeah, we're getting tattoos.
We're
What's
getting-
yours at? Tramp stamp?
I'm not getting one. I wasn't there. You guys were out there twerking.
Yeah, that's crazy though. But that's how
And
small the Marine
yeah,
Corps is.
and then you know the Mars sent Eleanor there, right?
Yeah, that's
Too,
what I'm
the gunny?
saying. Yeah, that's what I'm
White
saying.
guy.
So my guy was where Marston used to work at. And then the problem was that my guy. So we were retrograding the SP MACTAF. I'm sure that you are aware. So we were retrograding the SP MACTAF, and as you know, everything goes to Camp Arifjan, right? And then from Arifjan gets distributed to Buring. What was the other one that we were at? Oh, I forgot the name of it. But so it gets distributed to all the other places that Marines are at within the AO, right?
We got the big places, TQ, Al Asad.
Yeah, but TQ, that's in Iraq, which everything does arrive to Arifjam anyways, right?
Buring's actually a big one, though.
Yeah, but Buring is the big one because that's where like the majority of the
which is in Kuwait.
Yeah. So I was there, and then we had to. There was a lot in Arifjan that I had to go there a lot of times, like twice or three times a month, in order for us to secure that lot to be able to retrograde everything into there. It was a huge deal.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
because me when I got there, we had to go to Buring first because it was still like COVID, so we had to quarantine and whatnot.
It was the same thing.
And yeah, we were there for like I think a week or two, and then they moved us to Arifjan. So that was nice, and we worked in the HQ. The CJTF HQ over there. So with I think with the other general that was there.
Yeah, dude,
Army general.
I even saw where you stayed at. I stayed where you stayed at, the little freaking hut.
And the gym right behind
And the gym right behind. Dude, that's crazy, man. That's
we
crazy.
were probably right next to each other. We probably didn't know.
Yeah, I know. That's insane. Wow.
That's crazy. So yeah, I was a corporal at the time there, and lucky enough to get that opportunity to go out there because I mean obviously Owens, that's like a 0.1% that you're gonna be able to deploy, especially out of Quantico.
Yeah.
So that's super rare. And so yeah, so we got there to Arifjan, and it was good experience overall. It's the first time working as a joint environment, so being with Army and Navy people. The Air Force people were awesome. Yeah, they're a little like we talk shit about them, and I probably still will, but they're good people.
Yeah, for sure.
I love them them to death. In the Army too, but yeah, so did that there, and then it was at like my 5-month mark. And then at the end, they gave me an opportunity to move forward to Union 3 in Baghdad.
Okay.
So I was only there for 2 months in the green zone.
Okay.
And basically what I did there was working in the skiff. So just doing like security. So I wasn't really doing my job, but it was an opportunity for me to actually go to like Iraq. So I'm not like, I'm not comparing myself to anybody else that's been out there, but yeah, it was a good experience as well.
Yeah.
And we still got the IDF out there too, like at night.
Yeah.
When because they have the little sirens that go off too whenever there's incoming and all that. So
IDF is indirect fire.
Indirect fire. So we had a couple of them.
Mortars, artillery.
And there was one that I ain't gonna lie, that still scares me to this day. Like we were in the transit, like not barracks, but like housing or whatever. When we first flew into Baghdad National Airport, it was those little like huts there. I don't know if you saw them or not, but those little huts there, and you stay there until like you can fly out the next day or whatnot, or they can drive you to the Union 3 fob. And yeah, like woke up like at 2-3 in the morning. I don't even know what time it was, and it was like a lot boom, like, and it was literally like I'd say like 200 meters like from where we were staying at.
Damn.
But it was just loud, and it was just like
that's
crazy. And then it happened again like a few hours later, like farther away, but you could still hear like the explosion. And later that we found out that first strike had hit a DFAC over there.
Damn.
And it had killed a Kuwaiti employee that worked there. So like kind of like how we have Sodexo and whatnot. It was like their version.
Were they really Kuwaiti though, or were they?
I don't know. I mean,
they say they were Kuwaiti.
They were probably,
they say they were Kuwaiti.
Yeah.
Those people. And
Sketch.
listen, if you've never been to the Middle East, it's a completely different culture over there. Okay. Like it's crazy. Okay, so you at least you deploy. That's crazy. So there's opportunities even in non-deployable units for you to be able to deploy. You just have to be a top performer. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes, and even if you're not, you at least have to be doing your job well.
Okay.
So yeah, you just do your job well and get to know those opportunities that are out there.
How was it when you got back?
It was good. I mean, it was a little different because I mean, it's like compared to my peers, the other corporals, they're like a little stack or so on there. Yeah. So It was good.
What do you mean a stack? Because the stack consists of multiple ribbons. You talk about like 2 ribbons.
I had 8 as a corporal.
You had 8?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like you had 8, while everybody else has like 2 ribbons.
Yeah, like 2. So I mean, and at the end of the day, yeah, I was a humble dude, whatnot, but I didn't let that define who I was.
Good.
So I would still, conduct myself in, professional manner. I'm not going to be out there, oh, hey, you're
Now, let me ask you this, man. When was the moment that you decided, you know what? I should be an officer.
So that actually started when I was a PFC. So right when I got to the fleet in Quantico, I had a sergeant that worked in the same unit, and he was like down the hill in a separate building, and we would always take stuff. He was in the S4 actually, Sergeant Tompkins at the time. And the first time meeting him, I was bringing him something, like a package or something, and he was like, oh, hey, whatever. We were talking. I was just introducing myself to him. He was telling me a little bit about himself, and I was like, oh, what do you got there, Sergeant? Like, because he was filling like a whole stack of like papers, and he had like photos of him. It was like at the time, because you had to have like the actual promotion photo.
Mm-hmm.
So we had that printed out and like a bunch of other like paperwork. And he was like, yeah, this is my MECEP package. I was like, what is that? And he basically gave me the whole rundown, like, hey, this is like a program that they have in the Marine Corps where you can be enlisted and so and so requirements to commission as an officer. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So later on, he actually came up to the one shop, and it was kind of like like a mentor to me, and kind of gave me more insight about how the program works and whatnot.
He wasn't your MOS or anything like that.
He was just like I don't think he was a supply. He was what are the finance Marines? Comptrollers or something like that. Yeah.
No. You talk about controllers?
Comptrollers is one of them, but dispersing.
One of those two, yeah.
It's either that or the other one is MACTAF planners. They also work directly with the S4. There's a bunch of MOSs that work directly with the S4.
I just know he was a money guy, so yeah.
Oh, dispersing then.
Yeah,
dispersing.
Probably. Yeah. So he was the one that kind of introduced me to that, like that door of like doing a MECEP or ECP type of opportunities. And I was a PFC at the time, so I was like, all this knowledge was like what am I gonna do? So, and then from that point forward, I kind of made a point to myself after like looking into it myself and kind of reading through like what people done and how the process works. I was like, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do it. And it was from when I was a PFC and then until all the way now. And then at the time I wasn't eligible because you had to be a sergeant with 3 years time in service. And the thing is that those meritorious promotions actually kind of hurt me because being a junior guy and then having like as a corporal even, I still had to wait like another year or so to be eligible for that. And
I think that's bullshit, by the way.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's bullshit. That if you have a top performer, that there needs to be some time in there, in order for you to be able to put in a package. I think there still needs to be like a probatory period in there. And you tell me as a sergeant major if this makes sense or not. But it's like, I still think there needs to be like a probatory, but to not be able to identify the Marine and for the Marine not be able to start the process until that time frame has been met, I think is freaking bullshit.
I think it's stupid. I mean, we have the luxury of being able to do things like that, man. Back in the days, they had guys graduate boot camp and they literally went to be drill instructors. They would take the top recruits, earn the title Marine, and then they would go be drill instructors like that.
Wow.
And we don't think about that stuff. We're going to go, oh, he's too young. She's too this. They're too that. Train them. Talent management, right?
You know what? I also think too.
We always let the biases get in there.
This is gonna cause some outrage. But I think that officers should not come from college.
Why?
I think that officers should come from within the ranks, like what he's doing. I truly believe that. Because please explain
like, what do
to
you
me.
mean?
Please explain to me. This Marine that we have next to us right now,
Beautiful.
He's not going to MECEP because a college degree is going to make him better.
Sure.
Let's be honest. And I'm sorry. I know you probably value your college degree, but I'm just being very honest. That college degree is going to do absolutely nothing for him.
Okay.
Besides the fact of maybe getting him a better job outside of the military. Not inside the military. How does the college degree makes you a better leader, which that's essentially what a Marine officer is?
There's only one way.
Does that.
There's
TBS
only
does
one way, and it really just has to do with overall learning and exercising your brain and your cognitive function. But that's the best I can come up with.
No, I mean, they gotta think. You gotta think about.
But you don't need to go to college for that. I'm just trying to give you. I'm just trying to give you. The best I can even remotely come up with.
Yeah, but and again, I don't want to ask for your opinion, brother, because I don't want to be misconstrued as like you're giving an expression on like the views of the DOD or the military and all that stuff. But me personally, I think that a college degree does absolutely nothing. I think that they need to come up with a better way, and that's what we're going to talk in the part 2 of our podcast, which is where we're going to be breaking down exactly how is it that he did his package. We're going to be breaking down how he even got selected, how many interviews he had to do. We're going to be talking about so much, guys. I just wanted to make sure that in this part 1, you guys understood who Alex Mares is and the reason why this top performing Marine is getting selected and is currently going to school in order for him to be a MECEP Marine. In other words, a Marine Corps officer. So make sure that you guys like, follow, and subscribe. Go to any of these videos that are going to be popping up here within the next couple of seconds. And Barry, where can people reach out to you at?
You just got given a direct order. You know where you can find me at. Instagram at Bull5277, TikTok at Bull52772. Click the link in the bio. The call is free and the change will last you a lifetime, brother.
Alex, where can people reach out to you at?
Hey, you can find me on IG. It's Mares, MARES_ATX. All right, so shoot me a follow if you can.
Yep, shoot him a follow and then make sure that you guys ask him questions if you guys have any questions whenever it comes to the MECEP package. Guys, I'll see you guys in a couple of minutes.